Go.
Yeah, go back.
Pull the microphone close.
Okay. I will hold it because the whole standstill does not work for me. You know, at home we have like one of those connectors so that I just can't run away.
Yeah.
But I just love how like God orchestrates everything. And so like we were talking about the abiding process, and then we're talking about how God takes care of everything. And when we worship and all that process, and I'm talking about rest. And they just go together. Like I love how God does that. You know, and I was just thinking like what do you talk to ministers about? Like when you get a group of ministers together, what is it that you can share? What is it that I could share? Just because like ministering, that's what we do. Like we seek to hear from God, and we seek fresh words for those that we're sharing with. And I'm like, okay, God, I need a fresh word for your ministers. And I just began to think about rest. You know, and God brought to me the golden rule. You know, and so in Matthew 7:12, I mean, and we know what this is. You know, like it's, you know, we're called to do unto others as we would want them to do for us. You know, and I was thinking about that process, and then God began to drop it in my mind that we really need to do for ourselves as we would do for others. And I know this is like a crazy process, you know, because it just sounds weird that we need to do for ourselves as we would do for others, but it's so true. It's so true that being a minister, like we're so used to running and giving and doing and giving of ourselves and being everything to all people, you know, so that all will be saved. Like we are like programmed just to give above and beyond, you know, and a lot of times we fail to give ourselves. You know, we fail to step back in that rest. We fail to maybe do things that we need to for ourselves. And I think that is my message today, that God wants us to know that it's okay. That it's okay to take time for you. It's okay and it's needed. You know, and so like that thought process, like, it's okay. Like, you need to do for you what you would do for others. You know, because so often we're like, yeah, like you tell someone else that they need to rest or that they need to take better care of themselves, you know, and we're so much in the care mode, like caring for others, that we forget that we need to care for ourselves just as much. You know, and like, yeah. Because it's so easy to care for others.
Okay.
That's fine. And God says yes. Going through college, someone once told me, and it was one of probably the best pieces of advice I've been given. And they were basically telling me that you need to find something that you enjoy to do and do it. They were telling me that they had this boat, and they called their boat Visitation. Because so often in the ministry, people are demanding of your time and your attention and your resources. And they told me, and they said, Kimberly, you need to find something that you enjoy doing, and then you need to label it Visitation. So that's what they did. They had a boat. They named their boat Visitation so that when they were out fishing and taking care of themselves, people wouldn't necessarily get as angry with them when they said they were out on visitation. You know, like because people wouldn't necessarily know, and really, like, you need to step back and take care of yourself and take that time. Like, it's okay. I mean, I don't necessarily know if I would label it visitation, although that's what my mom and I call yard sailing. Like, when we go yard sailing, we tell my dad that we were on visitation. But it's so true though, because I talk to everybody. So I mean, it legitimately is true. Like, we go and there's nothing at the yard sale, and I spent an hour because I just found people to talk to. You know. So, but the point of it was, like, we need to find things that we enjoy doing, and to pursue those, because rest really is a weapon. Rest is a weapon that we can use just to guard ourselves. You know, because the enemy likes us to be so busy. Because there's always something that is going to take care of your time and grab your attention. And there's all if you were looking for things to do, you can never find enough things. Like, there's always more. Like there is no end to the things that we could do. But rest is so important because it's in that abiding process that God really does begin to prune the things off our lives so that we are able to do ministry better. Because when you're tired, you don't necessarily do the things that you do normally well. We're building a house for my grandma. And so the later on it is, the less I'm doing well. So right now we're doing sheetrock, and so there's a lot of screws we're putting in drywall. And so the more screws that I put in the wall, the tireder I get. The tireder I get, the more sloppy it gets, the more I miss my stud, all of this process, drop nails on the floor, but it's because I'm tired. And it's that same process with ministry, that if we don't, intentionally take that time to rest, we are going to burn out. And burnout is no joke. I'm sure that we've all had experienced burnout at one time. But for me, this is a process that God has been teaching me, because I don't sit still well, at all. I love to be busy. I love to have hands in pots, and I don't do anything singular. Everything comes in twos for me. I like to be busy. And so for the last probably 6 years, God has been trying to teach me rest. It has been a long process, because then I get uncomfortable and I jump out of rest. And then God has to start the trip all over again, and then I get back into rest, and then I get out of rest. Well, this time, I am determined to win. So I have been in this rest boat for about a year now. So a year ago, God asked me to jump out of my boat and quit my job, which I'm a planner. So everything is planned. I have plans from it's not just A and B and C. I have plans up to F. And then if I'm on B, I'm adding G and H. So I am such a planner. And so God had asked me to jump out of my boat without a plan. And that is some scary stuff for me, because I like to control my world. But God is really trying to hammer it into me, the fact that we need to learn to rest. Because it's through that rest that we're really effective. And it's through that rest that we have a weapon against the enemy, so that we're not getting tired or discouraged. Because when we rest, we can stay aligned to the vine. And God himself rested on the seventh day of creation. So, it's not wrong for us to rest. And we really need to learn how to rest well. And so, one of my favorite sayings is that sometimes you have to say no to good things so that you can say yes to better.
Amen.
It has become one of my favorite sayings because it has helped me learn to say no well. Because before, in ministry, people come ask things of you, and you just say, yes, I can do that. Because really, I can't. I can, trim off this here, and if I sleep less, I can, wiggle it in here, and if I eat on the go, I can maybe achieve this. But that, it's not effective, and you can only do that for so long. So rest is so needed. Rest is so needed, and so it really is important for us to learn how to say no to good things. And it's hard to say no to good things because you really could do it. You have the resources to do it. If you cut away from yourself, you can do it. But in doing so, then you no longer have the time, the resources, or the energy to say yes when God brings something better into your life. And so really, intentionality is key. So we have to be very intentional about resting. We have to purpose in our heart, because things will come up to pull you out of rest. And sometimes they're sly little things oh man, I'm out of rest again. I didn't even realize it, but there it is. But because the enemy knows that if he can pull you out of rest, that we aren't as able to hear God clearly because we're so busy that we're not taking the time to hear the small voice because we no longer have the space in our life for that. Another thing about rest and being intentional about rest is that during the rest, the enemy can't find us. You know, Psalms 91 talks about in the secret place of the Most High. You know, we abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And in this place, it's a place of rest, and it's a place of peace. But when we're under the wing of God, I mean, chicks, they hide under their mama because their mama can get nasty. Like, they peck and because they're that protector. And that is the way that God is for us. You know, and so when we hide under the shadow of the Almighty and we are in rest with God and we are abiding in that process, the enemy doesn't want to come knocking because he knows who he's going to find. Because he has to go through God in order to get to you.
Yeah.
You know, and so rest is our biggest weapon because we're able to be protected from that which would try and destroy us. But we really do have to be intentional about it. Like, we have to intentionally bury ourselves under his wing and in his shadow. And then we have to abide there. So we have rest as a weapon. Intentionality is a key. But simplifying is your friend. I mean, because sometimes, and I'm a big idea person. So you talk to me for very long. You will get the full scope. And I'm a dreamer, and I will dream big. So it's not just, I think it comes back to, someone once told me that, you shoot for the moon, because then if you miss the moon, you fall among the stars. You know, and so, I shoot high. Because then if I fall, I'm still high. You know, and then someone else told me, you dream big because God will take you past your dreams. So whatever it is you dream, God will take you further because his ways are above your ways. And so I'm a big dreamer. But sometimes it's good to simplify and to start small. You know, and especially when we're learning to rest. Because Rome wasn't built in a day. Sometimes, because we're not in practice of resting. We're not in practice of taking that time. And so we have to start small so that we actually make it happen. We have to find things that we can do today to cultivate rest. So if you like to golf, I'm giving you permission, go golfing. If you like to yard sale, go yard selling.
What if you're in danger when you golf?
When you're in danger?
Well, yeah, if you're in danger when you're golfing.
Oh, maybe find something you rest better at. Painting, hikes, staring at a wall. I don't know. There are things that we need to start small. There's things that we can do every day to take that moment, to take that step to rest. And we need to find them daily. Because we have to put them in our bank and make sure that we are intentionally resting so that when God gives us those busy seasons of fruitfulness, that we have the energy and the drive to be able to sustain that. You know, and as Brother Hutzel was talking earlier about the vine, you know, and how Jesus knows how to prune us, and God knows how to prune us so that we are more fruitful and that we are the most fruitful. You know, and I was thinking, you don't prune grapes. You don't prune them grapes during the harvest season. Grapes are pruned when it's restful. So when, you prune things when the sap is down so you're not destroying the tree. You know, and so then I got to thinking, I'm yes. That's why God talks about rest. Because it's in those restful seasons that he can help begin to prune those things off of our lives because we can see them. We can see them, and it really got me excited. But we do need to find those moments daily. And only do those things that relaxes you. If it relaxes you, go for it. Because it's those times of peaceful. So since rest is a weapon, not only against the enemy, but also in creating longevity in our ministries, because without rest we burn out quickly, we must simplify our lives and be intentional in cultivating rest. And God set up the world so that rest was a factor. So he's already given us permission. So I'm giving you permission to take time for yourself to rest. Because we want to see others live a healthy life, healthy and happy lives. And so we must strive to allow ourselves to do that as well. And sometimes that's hard in ministry, just because we're so busy caring for others, but it really is important that we do that for ourselves. So I just really want to challenge you that to begin thinking about doing for yourself what you would do for others.